After a month-long pause, tens of millions of dollars in federal funds have been released to Oregon schools. We'll tell you what that means for one local district. Plus,
we're going to end mail-in voting. It's a fraud.
Yeah, President Donald Trump looking to eliminate vote by mail, as he calls it, fraud. What Oregon Secretary of State and Attorney General had to say about his claims.
There's going to be wall to wall. It's going to be nonstop. It's every one of these parking lots will fill up.
Yep, tomorrow the state of Washington welcomes its first In-N-Out, but it's not just burgers and fries that are on people's minds. There's also traffic concerns. We're going to have the story from Ridgefield. The 6 o'clock hour of sunrise starts right now.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us on your Tuesday. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. Chris McGinnis and Rod Hill also standing by. Rob, we're going to start with you and your Tuesday forecast.
Yeah, we have a nice day, so get excited. The forecast is all dry, and we're talking temperatures for this time of the year only around 80, considered very comfortable. Here's our Salem sky camera. That's what I call a baby blue sky awaiting us, 54 degrees. Sun comes up this morning at 6:16. You can see the blue sky looking off to the northeast from the Wells Fargo camera as well. 61 out of PDX, but most of you are waking up into the 50s, and some of you in the low to mid 50s. So overall, it's really comfortable outside. Here's our day. Mainly clear now, 61, mostly sunny, 73, partly cloudy later today. And I think for the first time in all of a sudden a number of days, we'll get up to 80. I've got us at 81. Here's Chris.
That looks good. Better than the rest of the 7 days. Stay tuned for that, right? I-5 through Tualatin. There you go. Your southbound I-5 drive zipping right along near the 205 interchange. No problems on that side of town. Highway 26 at the Sylvan Hill. That too looks good. And guys, as we check out the drive times, we are rolling along at a speed limit clip right now. No crashes, no unexpected freeway delays just yet.
All right. Thank you, Chris. Top story here at 6 o'clock. Tens of millions of dollars have been restored to Oregon schools as they get ready to welcome kids back next week. That funding was initially frozen by the Trump administration back in June.
A month later, the Department of Education reversed course and released the money. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us live from Beaverton School District headquarters. So, Thomas, what have educators said about this?
Yeah, well, Drew and China, teachers with the Beaverton Teachers Union tell me that this summer has been stressful. First, when they thought that money was frozen, it left teachers and administrators scrambling. Of course, it was a big relief when that money was then reinstituted. Beaverton Teachers Union President Katie Lukin says $7 million was on the line for Beaverton, and that money is key for the school district. It supports after-school, summer programs, and English language instruction. And Lukin says the cuts would have cost Beaverton more than a dozen jobs.
These are funds that support all students, that these are programs that benefit all students, and that our students are going to succeed academically when they receive the funds that they are promised.
I firmly believe that all of us.
Other state attorneys general sued to block the money freeze. Once the funds were released, Rayfield released a statement saying in part, quote, "These funds keep critical programs running, from English language learning to school mental health services to summer learning programs." Now across the state, Oregon schools have regained access to more than $73 million. $20 million of that funding goes toward migrant education. Another $20 million directly targets student achievement. Drew, China.
All right, Thomas Schultz live for us this morning in Beaverton. We're also talking federal funding in this next story. Senator Ron Wyden visited Crater Lake this past weekend to see how funding cuts have impacted Oregon's only national park. The Trump administration eliminated thousands of park service jobs across the country earlier this year. Senator Wyden says he's working on strategies to support the park's current staff and to keep the visitor experience strong.
We're not just going to sit idly by while there is this jewel heist, because what I believe it's doing is weakening the commitment, the national commitment to Crater Lake and to all of our national parks.
Crater Lake has an interim superintendent after former superintendent Kevin Heatley resigned just 5 months into the job. The search for a permanent replacement continues while the park says it's dealing with staff shortages and a growing number of visitors.
We're going to end mail-in voting. It's a fraud. We're going to start with an executive order that's being written right now by the best lawyers in the country to end mail-in ballots.
As you just heard right there, President Donald Trump says his administration is looking to eliminate vote by mail. Vote by mail is the way that most people in Oregon and Washington vote, with local leaders saying it's extremely secure and local voters know about the safeguards. At a news conference yesterday, though, President Trump said vote by mail is fraudulent and provides slower results compared to paper ballots. But Oregon Secretary of State Tobias Reed says all those statements are false and that states have jurisdiction over elections, not the federal government.
President Trump is pretty clearly actively working to corrupt our elections. If he actually understood or cared about American people, he would know that mail-in voting is the best way to protect everyone's right to vote.
President Donald Trump also said vote by mail is more expensive. Secretary of State Reed says voting by mail in Oregon is less expensive than votes that require people to show up at a specific time and place.
Oregon is also joining 19 other states in another lawsuit against the Trump administration. Oregon's Attorney General says this suit takes aim at the administration's attempts to block federal funding meant for crime victims and survivors. The Trump administration has threatened to withhold roughly $15 million in grants for organizations in Oregon as a form of punishment for the state's sanctuary status. The Sexual Assault Resource Center in Washington County told us they put an emergency pause on their services because of the uncertainty surrounding federal funding.
So right now in Washington County, there isn't a direct service provider for folks who have experienced sexual violence.
The federal administration is trying to use victims of crime as a political tool to carry out an incredibly unpopular political agenda.
Attorney General Dan Rayfield is asking the Oregon legislature for about $3 million to help fill the gap while this lawsuit plays out.
The state of Washington is under a deadline to end its sanctuary policies. The Department of Justice sent letters to the governor and mayor of Seattle, giving them until today to respond. The letters warn state and city policies may be obstructing federal law. The DOJ is threatening investigations, civil or criminal actions, and the loss of federal funding. Seattle's mayor says that those threats won't change how the city protects its immigrant communities.
Refugees see this as a threat, and so I look at it as a threat to my community here, all of our communities, and so that's what a mayor does. The mayor strategizes, make sure that he or she could use the court system to their benefit, and they make sure they protect their community. That's what we're going to do.
Today, Seattle's mayor is expected to join Governor Bob Ferguson and other state leaders for a press conference about this in Olympia. Your time now is 6:07. We are looking at these new little guys. They're the two newest residents of the Cascades Raptor Center just outside of Eugene.
So the baby northern hawk owl and the baby snow owl both hatched back in June. The center says these birds were bred to help with education outreach at the facility.
So they were purpose-bred to work as educators and help us teach people about these really cool Arctic species and their sensitive habitats. Both of them have been learning really rapidly. They're learning to fly, they're learning to meet the public, and they're learning to do all the things they need to do to be successful workers here.
The baby owls are already, by the way, on public display.
I'll have to go check it out.
Oh boy. Yeah, that deserves a good palm to the face, Rod.
They do seem to be perfect employees, though, right? According to the story. So that's
perfectly what?
Perfect employees.
Oh, I thought he said poised.
I thought he said boys.
Employees. They're doing everything they're being asked to do. Well, the big headline, overwhelming, is our upcoming heat wave. We've got what I would call full confidence on Tuesday that this will come true for the weekend. So here are the hottest days right now. Friday, we're forecasting in Portland 98 degrees. The record, interestingly enough, for Friday is 98, back in 1942. Saturday, forecasting 98. The record's 101. I think that's at least a potential. Sunday, 94, and I can't promise you that we won't be warmer. I can't promise you we wouldn't give the record of 99 back in 1982 kind of a run for the money. So we will see. That's the latest on what is a growing confident call of it getting at least as warm for the most part as we were last time we went on that 3-day hot run. All right, now for today, we're still really pleasant. We have clouds in Lincoln City, Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera, 54 degrees. The coast expected to be cloudy to kind of partly sunny at times today. We are mainly clear over the valley. Here's the Chehalem Tasting Room camera with Mount Hood sticking up right in the middle. Out in Sherwood, 55 degrees. Most of you are in the 50s. It's really nice outside. Not much wind. We have 56 in Tigard, 57 up in Vancouver this morning. Canby, good morning. 58 is your current number. Kaiser, good morning. 53. Albany, good morning. 54. Here's the map this afternoon. All dry and nobody's really hot. It looks like you folks out east will generally stay in the 80s with sunny skies. It shows Bend 83, Madras 85, mid 80s in the Dalles. Getting up to 80, which is something we have not done in a while, actually, at PDX. Low 80s in Salem and Albany, and then holding 60s at the coast. There is a cloud band offshore. It's going to be bringing thickening clouds, especially to the north coast this afternoon, and some increasing clouds at least near to north of Portland this afternoon. I've got us 81. I've got tomorrow 83. Thursday's the day we start to heat up, 88. And in red, there's the KGW impact alert for this upcoming heat wave, 98, 98, 94. Not sure if we cool down into the 80s on Monday or not. Ultimately, the models give us different solutions at this time. That is your update.